Shaiv. I'm just setting up my computer so I can make an attempt at reading comments today, since I'm going to be sitting in front of my camera. So we're going to see if this will work. Hello, Shaiv. I'm just setting up my computer so I can make an attempt at reading comments. Hi there, we'll be starting in just a second. I'm gonna put something on and, oh, that's not good. We don't want that.
Need to build a website? If you're a doer like Mark, check out Fiverr. Not a doer? Check out these cats chasing a laser. Nah.
All right, now hopefully I will be able to see if anyone has any comments. And today we're going to work on just a little creative project. Today I'm working on a soap dough recipe, and although this is for a project that we'll be starting, I'll do this in a series of separate periscopes because it takes so long to do this. It might even be over the course of a couple of days. But right now we're going to start off with some little crafted effects that we're going to put into this project. And these will be soap cupcakes. And we're going to do a Christmas theme. We'll do Santa, we'll do some elves, and we'll do a Rudolph. And right now it's just a practice soap dough recipe. And there are really good soap dough recipes out there, but I actually have been trying to experiment with one that is a little less on the pricey side so that you can make these for sale and that they'll still be sort of economically efficient so that you don't have to charge an arm and a leg when you make these little projects. And I mean, it takes long enough to start these detailed, intricate ones, but you know, you don't want to make them too expensive, especially when they're little novelty projects. So I need to make the little embeds right now, and we're going to set these out to dry. This is just cold processed soap that has not yet been cured. I do need to wear gloves because the lye is active in each one of these pieces, so it would burn my hands. It would be poisonous if I were to be touching this. So we're going to make an attempt at seeing if this is in a state that's ready. I'm already liking this recipe. I really am looking forward to creating a recipe that's just as good as some of the more expensive ones out there. And this one here, this is my third trial today, working with less expensive oils. And the first two were exactly what you would expect with less expensive oils, and this one is starting to actually come out very nice. So this soap here has only been, was only made about 12 hours ago. And oftentimes it's common that you don't start working with your soap dough for about 18 to 24 hours. But let's see. And I have my computer set up, so if you guys have any questions about cold process soap making or hot process soap making, I can try and catch the questions this time, where usually I just have the camera over my head so I can't see what anyone else is saying. But we're going to be making our embeds. So we're going to start off by making little deer ears that are going to fit into the finished product, and I want these to be cured and ready to go so that when I finish piping my little heads and faces, we can just stick the ears right in there. What I can't do right at this time, or I can't seem to get, is I can't roll it out and then cut it out because I need more time for this to cure in order for it to get into that consistency, but I can sculpt it like clay. And we can see if we can get the shapes in general that we want. So I need some ears. They will end up looking a little something like this, even though I don't like this recipe, so we're not going to use this. But we need some. And this might take a little bit. It's just an experiment to see if this texture will work with this recipe. If not, I'll just cure this soap and use it for another project. I need ears, I need a Rudolph nose, which will be easy enough. We've got plenty of them all in sparkles right here. But we've got a red, a more brightly colored red, which will work better, I think. And what else do we need? We need some little antlers. And I think we might do some lips, some Santa Claus lips. Everything else will be piped on fresh. So his beard, his hat, the belt that I'm going to create for the elves and for Santa, I think I'm going to just sort of use with fresh clay onto the finished product at the very end. We'll see how that works. But for now, I need to get these cured. And so there are a couple things. I need these to be a little bit thick and robust so that they don't fall apart or that they don't break once we've got them on there. I have seen some nice delicate ones on other projects, on some unicorns and such, but I want these to be nice and thick and robust so that they'll stay as a novelty item and they won't crack or break off. Sometimes the more delicate work looks beautiful in photography, but it won't necessarily hold up if you try to ship, or you have to become more creative with the packaging. We do want our ears to be the same size relatively though. And it doesn't matter how long I make them because that's just going to stick in the soap, in the little head. That's just going to hold it all in together. But I think I like that thickness. And I guess I'll have to just make a whole bunch of these for a few minutes to get the feel of the shape. But the soap dough is, the texture is just holding up very nicely. It's very smooth. It doesn't have any lumps in it. And this was a very simple recipe. Not very simple. It's a 6 oil recipe. But it's just not as expensive as some of the other published recipes that are out there. Although the more expensive recipes, of course, are better quality. With a little practice. Hi, what is this? This is, I'm making embeds. I'm making a soap project, a how-to soap project. The recipe and the instructions are oftentimes available on Amazon. Sometimes if the projects come out good enough, I'll write down a step-by-step picture tutorial and post it over on Amazon, or there's a Facebook group, Thermal Mermaid Bath and Soap and Bath, Bath and Soap. And a lot of times I take my recipes and I post them over there for free too. So if someone's interested, if someone doesn't join the website, or if they don't, get the book off Amazon, which is just sometimes 99 cents or $1, if they don't want to do that, or if that's holding them back, if they ask me, I'll post it for free. That's no problem because it's a good craft. But anyway, we are making soap, and we're making, this will be several parts so that it doesn't take forever. But we're going to be making cupcakes. These are little Santa, Rudolph, and some elf caricature cupcakes that will be cured into soaps that you can set on your sink. And right now I have to make the little embeds that we can use and get these nice and solid and cured so that we can add these as facial features or little character features to our soaps after we make them. And right now I'm making deer ears. So these will be Rudolph's ears. However, I haven't really decided exactly the shape and size I want quite this second. I actually think I might want to go a little bigger. So right now we're just playing. This is kind of an experiment with the soap dough recipe. This is cold processed soap that I'm using. It's not been cured. And what that means is that it's actually active. It's not inert at this time. The lye in here, this is equivalent to putting your hands in Drano if you were to be touching this bear skin, which sometimes I do, and my hands are burnt. And I decided today to make sure I kept my gloves on all day, because just handling the package alone gets the soap on the outside of it, gets rewrapped, and boy oh boy can you have a problem if you really don't be careful. So this isn't really done. I've had this wrapped up just too much. This can get some air, so this can be more of a clay consistency. Right now it's kind of a paste, which I do like because this is going to allow for another project. We're making some gingerbread. Hello, I see Chicken Rooster in there. You're not the Chicken Rooster who's the beekeeper, are you? Because I watch a guy on I watch a fella on YouTube that I love to watch for years and years, and he's a beekeeper. He goes by the name Chicken Rooster. All right, so this isn't a quite terrific consistency, but since we're just practicing with shapes, we'll kind of work our way in there. So this will be the inside of our deer ear. See, it's still a little tacky and sticky to the touch, so we're not gonna go too far out. What I am gonna do though is just leave this unwrapped so we can let it cure a little bit more. It's gonna take a few hours. But this is just an experiment. We're just getting our shapes down. This is the first time I've created this project, so I really have to like play with it and feel how I want my shapes to come out. I can't really just do it in my imagination. I have to like touch it and play with it to see how I want. Which means I have lots of, no, not me. Okay, well, welcome anyway, Chicken Rooster. I like beekeepers. That's my secret obsession on YouTube is to watch beekeepers. If I had a larger backyard, I would totally be harvesting beeswax for my soap products myself. So let me get a soap base. We're in the stage right now with this project. Hold on one second. We're in the stage right now where I'm making all the practice parts. So here is the bottom of our reindeer. So this will be a cupcake. His little head will be piped on like frosting. And we've got a little white chest, sort of breast fur that he'll have. And his little nose will be up here. And then this is going to be one of our Santas. I've already sort of clayed his belt onto him. But these are all practice pieces, and I'm going to create a much brighter red for Santa's suit, obviously. And this will be our elf. Here we were working with Soapberry Green, which is one of my absolute favorite shades of green. Although there are some brighter, more fluorescent, cartoony shades out there, which I really should be migrating toward because people tend to like, you know, especially with these caricatures, people really like those bright colors, but then it's soap and you want to use it. You don't necessarily want to see micas and makeup colors on your skin when you're washing, or on your hands when you're washing it off. So there's kind of a balance. I'm getting things all sticky, but these are just practice pieces. These were the pieces when I was first just coming up with the idea, and now I have a much better idea on exactly how I want to craft these. So I'll be doing the Periscope. This is just sort of kind of hanging out, chatting with you guys. If you have any questions about soap making, if I can catch it in the comments, then you can ask any questions you want. But right now we're just practicing with our pieces to see how I want them to come out. So we don't need to use up all the clay for that. We've got a couple of prototypes. I actually think I want them to be about that size. So we'll just remake this one. And I think for our demonstration, when we make the full YouTube video, I think I'll make 3 or 4 per character. So we need 8 ears. Yes, this is gonna be nice. Do I want them in that shape? Is that bread? No, this is soap. I'm using a new recipe. If I had some sculpting tools where I'm sitting right now, but I don't have any available, so I have to make do. I'm using a new soap dough recipe. And this is my third trial on a specific combination of oils, because I was just telling someone earlier, there are some great soap dough recipes out there. And I'm just working with one that's less expensive so you can make more crafts at a lower price for your craft fairs and for your soaping projects, so you don't have to charge too much when you make some of these, although you can, because it's time consuming. But I'm working on a specific caricature that I'm going to make out of soap, and I'm just practicing with the shapes and the looks that I want right now. I don't really have it completely put together in my imagination, so we're just looking at different shapes. These are deer ears, and we're going to make about 8 of these. In general, and then I'm going to set these to cure so that we can put them onto our soap projects on the heads of our reindeer. And so far, this recipe is working out very nicely. This is soap. This is cold processed soap that I am working with. The soap would be poisonous. It would burn your hands because it's not cured if I weren't wearing gloves. The lye is still active. The soap is not cured, so we can work with it and we can turn it into a clay project. And I'm going to be making, a little later today, I'm going to be pouring the bases, the bodies of some little clay creatures that we're creating, as you can kind of see. This is going to be a deer. And these were my practice pieces. They weren't sort of fully put together at the time that I created them. I was just playing. So at this time, I'm just kind of getting an idea of how I want my deer's ears to look. And we're going to sculpt these out of dough while the soap has not cured at this time. And then this will harden up, maybe overnight, maybe just a few hours. We'll see how long it takes for this recipe to harden up. And then when it's hard, these will be the little caricature features of our creatures that we're making. I've been doing this for years. I have, we have a store online, thermalmermaid.com, where you can see all the projects. I try to put as much out there for free. I have several books on Amazon, but I rotate many of them through for free for recipes and for other soap makers, or especially the beginner ones, the ones that teach you safety and the basics. I actually have one, I'm trying to get Amazon to put it on perma-free right now, because that's kind of essential. You wouldn't want to try this without knowing all the safety and the basics of cold processed soap making, because you could have some consequential blunders if you didn't know what you were doing. There's some poisons, you know, some toxic caustic chemicals involved. Not too bad. I mean, it's just kitchen common sense, but certainly you want to know that stuff first. But right now we're making some Christmas reindeer, and I'm going to cure these after I make the shapes. And this is just a trial. This is the third recipe that I started today. I had specific oils in mind that are not, they're not the traditional ones for soap dough oils. They're actually a touch simpler. And we'll see if it works out. But right now the recipe really is coming out very smooth. And not as smooth as some of the more expensive stuff, but if you have the time to work with it, you could make these look really nice. I'm just not sure how big I want these yet. I might make them smaller. I might make them considerably smaller. I really want these ears to match. All right, so I've just had to wash my hands, and maybe by getting this wet, yes, we'll get a much smoother texture. And also I won't mess up the white with my fingers being brown. I still don't know if I want them this big, although they'll definitely hold up. But when the piping is nice and soft, when I put the little heads on top, I don't want them to be too heavy so that they don't mess up the heads. I have a little extra ear down here in case I break one. I think actually I'll make a couple, just in case some of them crack while they're curing or something like that. All right, I mean, that's not for drinking, because the rule is when you're making soap, you never ever have anything out drinking. I had to put my coffee away. All food products get put away if you're working in your kitchen. If you're in your studio, you shouldn't have any food in there. But if you're working in your kitchen like I am today, then you never ever have any coffee or sandwiches, because you wouldn't want to pick up a cup of water or a drink and have it be contaminated with lye water. However, since we're working with clay, we're just going to have some water available to smooth it out. So let me think. I'll need a red nose. I'll need some red noses, and then I'll need some antlers. And that is all we'll need for Rudolph. Oh no, I need to make his eyes too, because his eyes aren't just little dots. His eyes are big, beautiful Bambi eyes. So we'll make some eyes out of the clay. Put those on. We can make some lips for our elves and for our Santa. I think that's about it for those guys. Now, if you want to see the finished product, once we're done with this, in a short version, so you don't have to watch the long, arduous process of making everything, then the YouTube video, I'll edit that and put that up so that this goes by really fast, so that you only have to watch the whole thing get put together in about 10 minutes. All the characters, not just the Rudolph. The beautiful thing about this, somebody commented on my YouTube channel, it said, "You're a wasteful and messy soap maker," which is true. I do, especially when I'm wearing thicker gloves. I don't have as much control over the little minuscule details, but I'm definitely a messy soap maker, definitely. And the beauty of that is it's soap. You just wash it right off. So in my first recipe, we had these ears right here, which are kind of okay, but I did not like the texture and how this felt. It just felt too, I don't know, brittle. So this is the third trial recipe for this project. And each trial recipe has come out better each time. And I'm liking what we're seeing so far, but we'll see how well these cure. Especially, I'm really being really manipulative with the soap. So we'll see if it can withstand all the kind of malleable stuff that I'm doing to it and then cure properly. But this is how you get really great crafts. You just kind of break the rules a little bit and work with it and see what works over time. Leave that one alone. I don't love this one. We'll just move on to another one for the moment. This one's just too big, although it's coming out all right. Certainly doesn't match that one, but I think I'm going to redo that one. I don't like that one. I don't like these. Let's try. I still need to make some antlers, and these are just little nubs on Rudolph's head. So let's see if we can get kind of a visual here. These ones might be okay. This one's good. I can keep it in its integrity. There's gonna be a nose right there. And he needs antlers. And his little antlers are just like that. Like that. I need something to stick in and base it, like a tooth. So it's gonna have to look like this. Get it into his head. And then here's the bottom of it. They start to crack. I think the secret is just to wet them down, slide it all over. I'm gonna have to make a couple of those, not just 8, because I feel like I need to practice just the dexterity part of it for a little while. I don't love all of those. So we're gonna make another row of those in a little bit, but for this moment, we'll clean up our spot. See if I can't get some eyes made. I don't think. I actually don't think this is quite ready to be worked with, so I'm going to set that aside. Come back and we'll do this one right here. We need some noses and we need some lips. We need some Santa Claus lips. That should be easy enough. These noses are coming out much better than the first recipe. I actually think you might think I don't need so many Rudolph noses, but these will double as some Christmas balls, because what we'll do here is I've made a bunch of these bases here, and I don't actually like I don't like some of the practice bases I made for this particular project. There's Santa with his belt. I'm gonna repurpose those as the bottoms bases to Christmas trees. And so if we make a bunch of red balls, I can dust them in glitter, which we'll do in just a moment. And that can double as Rudolph's nose, but also some little extra embeds for a project later this afternoon. Now, let's see if we make some lips. Alright guys, I think I'll come back when I need to make a few more of these. And we've got our noses, and we've got our antlers. And I will come back to you guys when it's time to pipe on their little heads. So we've got our bases, which I'll pour some more bases. And then when we frost up and pipe on their little heads and we get ready to stick our embeds in, I'll come back and periscope that so you can see their entire faces as they're completed. And then if you don't want to watch this whole long arduous process and you just want to watch the condensed version really fast and see this get made in front of you, then I will be posting this once the project is complete over on my YouTube channel at Thermal Mermaid, and you can see it all be made in front of you without having to wait and watch the long boring stuff. We'll edit that down. So go check that out if you're interested in seeing these finished products, and when I come back, we'll get ready to put their heads on.